Good evening. At 7 p.m., the procession for the 49th Northwest State Community College graduation ceremony will begin. As the procession enters the graduation court, you are requested to keep the aisles open so they can quickly move into their seats. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
I'm Jeffrey Erb, Chair of the Board of Trustees at Northwest State Community College. On behalf of my fellow trustees, I now declare this 49th annual commencement to be in session. To open our ceremony, I ask that the audience please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. I would like to thank Mrs. Patty Altman, Grand Marshal, for leading this year's procession. At this time, we wish to recognize President Emeritus Dr. Larry McDougall. Accompanying Dr. McDougall is his wife, Ruth. We also recognize President Emeritus Dr. Thomas Stuckey and his wife, Bonnie, who are with us today. And Dr. Stuckey?
Thank you, Chairperson Erb. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you today the members of the Platform Party, and I would ask you that you please hold your applause until all have been introduced. First, let me recognize the Northwest State Community College Board of Trustees. Chair Jeff Erb, whom you've just met, represents Williams County. Representing Defiance County is Laura Howe, Vice Chair. From Henry County, Joel Miller is the second Vice Chair. Also representing Henry County is Dr. Robert Hall. Representing Defiance County is John Breidenbaugh. From Paulding County, Sue Dirk and Lisa McClure. On behalf of Van Wert County is Scott Mull, and also representing Fulton County is Paul Siebemorgan. Let's give them a round of applause. Also on stage today, we have the college administration. I would ask that they please stand and be recognized for a round of applause. Come on, team, up. Now I would like to recognize the heart and soul of this institution, and that is our faculty. They provide transformational learning environments as well as care and support for our students every day. And sometimes that's like 2 in the morning with the email too, from what I understand. So if our faculty would please stand, and let's ask our students and audience here to recognize them, and thank you for coming today. We also have members of the college staff who have worked tirelessly to help our students succeed, and I won't ask them to stand, but I would ask that we just recognize them with a round of applause. I would also like to recognize Miss Alicia Barheit and Miss Andrea Von Kam, who are serving as our junior marshals this evening. Thank you both. So no one completes a college degree alone. For every graduate here today, there are supporting family and friends who help our students overcome incredible barriers to reach their educational goal. In fact, you will hear from our student speaker tonight, and I'm trying hard to hold it together because I've read what he has said already. It's absolutely incredible. Graduates, here's where I offer you the opportunity to rise and applaud those family members and friends that are here today and those you are thinking about who have helped you on your journey. So graduates, please rise. Take a peek at a family member if they're here and give them a big round of applause and thank you. To our graduates, go ahead, sit down. You're good. On behalf of a very grateful Northwest State Community College, I commend you for your dedication and persistence that has led to this remarkable achievement. You have balanced work, family, and other obligations in order to complete your education. Well done. To our community, Northwest State provides a safe place where our students' hopes and dreams can lead to a better life. We know that the degrees and certificates earned today represent far more than educational milestones. A Northwest State education helps our students reach other goals, including family-sustaining wages. The reason we call today's ceremony is a commencement is because it marks the beginning of a new chapter in our students' lives, one filled with hope and potential. As we now celebrate our 50th anniversary, Northwest State remains resolute in our mission to provide an excellent yet accessible and affordable education that improves the lives of individuals and strengthens our local communities. Student by student, family by family, community by community, we will help maintain and improve the high quality of life that represents a hallmark of Northwest Ohio. Each year, the Commencement Committee is given the challenge of choosing the recipient of the President's Outstanding Student Award. This year, the decision was especially difficult as the faculty nominated several strong candidates. I would like to congratulate Mr. Stephen Delaney. Applause is good here. Stephen, would you please come to the stage? While they come up, I will tell you, Stephen is graduating summa cum laude with an Associate of Applied Business degree in Business Management. He is employed full-time, a father of 4, and a grandfather of 1. Stephen serves as a deacon at his church and has been involved in the Kairos prison ministry for many years. I am proud to present this year's President's Outstanding Student Award to Stephen Delaney. All right, now I would ask to please welcome Dr. Cindy Kruger, Vice President for Institutional Effectiveness and Student Services, who will provide us with a snapshot of the December 2018 graduating class.
I would like to extend my congratulations to all of our graduates. Today, your family, friends, and the college community are really here to celebrate your achievements. So who makes up the class of December 2016? The class has 97 graduates, 49 women, and 48 men. 91% of the graduating class lives in the 6-county area of Defiance, Fulton, Henry, Paulding, Van Wert, and Williams counties. The average age of the class is 28. Several graduates are members of our honor societies. There are 4 graduates who are members of Kappa Beta Delta, 14 who are members of Phi Theta Kappa, which is the National Honor Society, and 1 graduate who's a member of the Dean's Leadership Cluster. The average grade point average of the class is 3.22. Tonight, there are actually a total of 103 awards, 68 associate degrees, and 35 certificates will be awarded to our 97 graduates. Degrees and certificates will be awarded to 12 graduates in arts and sciences, 30 graduates in allied health, business, and public services, 3 graduates in the business and industries, 17 graduates in math, science, and engineering technologies, 17 graduates in industrial technologies, and 18 graduates in nursing. It is now my honor to introduce our speaker for this evening, Northwest State Community College President Emeritus Dr. Larry McDougall, who I also consider to be a mentor and a friend. Dr. McDougall has well over 45 years of dedicated service in higher education. He began his career teaching physics at the University of Findlay and will go on to serve in various teaching and administrative roles at public colleges in Indiana, Illinois, and South Carolina before returning to Ohio to be the Dean for Instruction at the Community and Technical College of the University of Toledo. In September of 1991, he became the 4th president of Northwest State Community College until his retirement as President Emeritus in 2003. He is credited with the construction of a $7 million technical center on campus, which includes the Voinovich Auditorium, where you are now seated. Dr. McDougall came out of retirement in 2010 to serve as interim president and then president of Owens Community College. Dr. McDougall holds a bachelor's degree in math, physics, and English from the University of Findlay, a Master of Arts degree in physics from Kent State University, and a doctorate in higher education administration from the University of Toledo. He has authored over 60 articles and received many recognitions and awards. Among them are the Outstanding Alumnus Award from the University of Toledo, College of Social Justice and Human Services, and an honorary doctorate of educational leadership with a Distinguished Alumnus Award from the University of Findlay. Recently, he has served as lay pastor at Napoleon Church of Christ. Dr. McDougall has been married to his wife, Ruth, since 1962. They have 3 children, 7 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Larry McDougall.
Good evening. It's good to see all of you here tonight. It's an absolute honor for me to be invited to this ceremony. The college serving 50 years. I spent about 45 years of my career in administration, 12 of them here, and without a doubt, the best 12 years of my career. I could not have been happier than the time I spent at this institution working with the people that are here. Members of the Board of Trustees, President Thompson, faculty and staff, distinguished folks, most importantly to the graduates, because we're here to celebrate you tonight. And I've been looking forward to some time now of sharing some thoughts with you. I grew up on a farm, and I like barnyard humor. It's clean. Any of the members of the audience, including faculty and staff who were here when I was here, will remember this story. So please try to hold it down. I know it's going to be raucous laughter on your part. It's the story of a chicken and a pig. The chicken and the pig had been traveling together one day, been traveling for several hours. Lunchtime was approaching, and they were getting hungry. And the chicken got all excited. The pig couldn't understand why and said, "Why do you get so excited? There's a sign there that says bacon and eggs. We could go into business for ourselves. We could make a lot of money," said the chicken. Pig said, "Listen, I don't get nearly as excited when I see that sign as you do." And the chicken said, "Why not?" The pig said, "Well, for you, it's just a contribution. For me, it's total commitment." Now, there is a very significant moral to that story. The world is filled with people willing to make a contribution. But the people that are truly successful in life, the kind of people that you're going to become as you leave here, are people who are committed, who believe in what you're doing. I have a couple of rules I'll share with you. One of them, always do the right thing. Some people will always do things right. Now, there is a significant difference. People who do things right are following some manual, some handbook, whatever, but it may not be the right thing to be doing. There may be a fault with that particular document that they're following. I remember my very first commencement here. I was standing out there where you were standing earlier, and this young lady came up to me and she was crying, and I said, "What's the matter?" She said, "I just received my grades, and my grade point average is high enough that I should be having the gold cord that you see some of these people wearing tonight, and they're not going to let me wear it." So I went to the person in charge of that, and I said, "What's the explanation?" And they said, "Well, our policy manual says you have to have the grades at the end of the fall semester, not the next semester. The next semester doesn't count." And I said, "Please give her the gold cord." I didn't criticize the person that had made that decision. They were doing things right, but I didn't think it was the right thing to do. And so the very next week, we got our committee together and we changed the rules. Another thought for you. The world is filled with temptations. You've already encountered them in your life. You're going to encounter many more. And I suspect I'm talking to parents and friends here as well as just the graduates. But temptations like drugs and sex and fame and power and money, those aren't necessarily wrong, but they can become wrong if they're misused and abused. The second thing is, the world is full of choices. And when you encounter these various situations in your life, you're going to have to make a choice. And the choice that you make may have a great deal to do with what becomes of your life. I would say to you, be true to yourself. I have a poem that I like. I'm going to share 3 poems with you tonight because I like poems and I like the message they have. This one is entitled, "The Man in the Glass." Now, I don't want to offend you ladies there. The person who wrote it used the term man, and it's meant to be a generic term. Fair enough? When you get what you want in your struggle for self, and the world makes you king for a day, just go to the mirror and look at yourself and see what that person has to say. It isn't your father or mother or wife or some friend whose judgment upon you must pass. The fellow whose verdict counts most in your life is the one staring back from the glass. You may be like Jack Horner and chisel a plum. You think you're a wonderful guy, but the man in the glass will say you're only a bum if you can't look him straight in the eye. You may fool the whole world down through the years and get pats on the back as you pass, but your final reward will be headache and tears if you've cheated the one in the glass. The one in the glass is the fellow to please. Never mind all the rest, for he's with you clear to the end, and you've passed your most dangerous, difficult test if the man in the glass is your friend. Be true to yourself. It's going to be important. I would say to you, possess a meaningful, personal faith. It'll see you through some very difficult times. We all have a mind, a body, and a soul. All three parts are important. And it's important that we pay constant attention to each part and to feed each part every day. Don't be afraid to take risks. Imagine where the turtle would be if he never stuck his neck out. There are times you're going to need to stick your neck out. Be willing to take a chance. You might make a mistake, but you can learn from it. I know in my own case, I never learned very much from things I already knew. It was when I made a mistake that I learned something in the process. A quote from Teddy Roosevelt, one of my favorite people. Roosevelt said this: "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again, because there's no effort without error and shortcomings. You have to be one who knows devotion, who spends yourself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the high achievement of triumph, and who at worst, if he fails while doing greatly, knows his place shall never be with those timid and cold souls who know neither victory or defeat. Don't be afraid to go for it." I have lots of other comments I'd like to share with you, but I'm going to stop here, believe it or not, because you have other important things. But I do want to say something very important at the end. I'd like for you to realize that you are going to have to go through life depending on a lot of people that are here tonight. The president did a beautiful job of commenting about that. Another one of my favorite poems I call The Bridge Builder. An old man going a lone highway came at the evening cold and gray to a chasm, vast and deep and wide, through which was flowing a sullen tide. That sullen tide held no fears for him, but he turned when he reached the other side and built a bridge to span the tide. "Old man," said a fellow pilgrim near, "you're wasting your strength building here. Your journey will end with the ending day. You never again must pass this way. You have crossed the chasm deep and wide. So why do you build this bridge at eventide?" The builder lifted his gray head. "Good friend, in the path I've come," he said, "there followeth after me today a youth whose feet must also pass this way. This chasm has meant nothing to me. To that fair-haired youth may a pitfall be. He too must cross in the twilight dim. You see, good friend, I'm building the bridge for him. You can look around, every single one of you here tonight, regardless of your age, and you can either see or think of people who have built bridges for you, who have helped you reach the success in life that you have. And you have an obligation to turn that around as you go through life, to become a bridge builder for other people. I cannot wish you any better success and luck. And what an honor and a thrill it's been for me to spend these few minutes with you. God bless you all.
Thank you, Dr. McDougall, for joining us this evening and for those inspiring remarks. Good evening. I'm Lori Robison, Vice President for Academics, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you the class speaker for the December graduates of 2018. Will Mr. Daniel Stuckey please join me on the platform? Daniel resides in Montpelier, Ohio. He's graduating summa cum laude with an Associate of Applied Science degree in Business Management. He is a member of Kappa Beta Delta and Phi Theta Kappa Honor Societies. He, too, is a father and grandfather, as well as an active member of St. Paul United Methodist Church in Montpelier. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Daniel Stuckey.
Good evening, graduates. First of all, I want to thank Jesus, because without him, I could not have accomplished any of the things that I have. So thank you. Wow. I can honestly say I never dreamed that I'd be standing here. If you're like me, this day, I have been highly anticipating this day for almost 2.5 years. I know, at least for me, there were a few times during that 2.5 years I didn't think I was going to be standing in this spot. But we made it. Now we can feel that sense of accomplishment, the excitement of knowing we made it, and we can feel proud of ourselves for sticking to our goals and completing them. I have learned a lot in the last 2.5 years, and not just academically. I've learned a lot about myself, my limits, my abilities, my determination, and my will to succeed. I mentioned earlier that I never dreamed I would be standing here, and I will tell you why in a few minutes, but the first thing I'd like to say is that there will be major events in your life. How you handle those events will determine how you live your life. If you haven't noticed yet, I'm just a little older than most of you here, most of you graduates here. I have some life experience, and I'd like to share with you that will help you understand why I never dreamed I would be standing here with you today. There have been 2 events that shaped my life, both tragic events, but how I handled them, one good, one bad. The first event happened to me when I was 8 years old. My dad left for work one morning, and a couple hours later, my family was informed that he was killed while doing his job. My dad was my world. He was teaching me everything about being a farmer, and in the blink of an eye, he was gone. Because of that event, the next few years would be very bad for me. I rebelled against the world. I hated everything and everybody and didn't care if I lived or died. I started a lot of bad habits and ultimately dropped out of school at the age of 15. The last year I completed of school was my freshman year, and my grades were like a bad stutter, D, 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 D. I went back to night school to get my GED at the age of 20, and I got lucky. They told me that if I stayed 2 extra months, I would earn my high school diploma. So I did, and I received both my GED and my high school diploma. but I missed my sophomore, junior, and senior years of high school. Think back to all the things you learned in those 3 years. That's a lot to miss. I did not make good choices early in my life because of that first event. The second event happened a little over 10 years ago when my son Josh was tragically killed in an automobile accident. I made a promise to him at his funeral that because of how proud he made me as his dad, I would live my life to make him proud. He was 19 years old and had just been accepted into the University of Toledo a week before his accident. So unlike the first event of my life where I made the worst decisions, the second event is driving me to do the very best I can. I want to make my son proud. Not only my son, but all my children and my grandchildren. 4 years ago, the factory where I had worked for 22 years closed the doors and they moved our jobs to Mexico. I was devastated. I thought, now what am I going to do? I've been at this job for 22 years. I had already been a part-time realtor at that point for the last 10 years. And I wasn't getting any younger, so I decided to pursue real estate full-time. The only problem was it didn't provide any health insurance. And at my age, I needed health insurance. So I started driving school bus for Montpelier schools just for the insurance. It only required 3.5 hours a day, so I could still pursue real estate full-time. Then it happened. 2 years after the factory closed, I received a letter in the mail stating that I qualified for retraining. I could go to college and get a degree, all expenses paid. Wow, what an opportunity. But wait, how can I do that? I work 2 jobs, and it has taken me 12 years to build up the clientele to succeed in real estate. And I need insurance. I can't quit either of my jobs. I didn't know what to do. I thought and prayed hard for 2 weeks about what I should do. I just kept thinking, how am I going to manage working 2 jobs and go to college full-time? Not to mention, I have no high school classes in my background. I mean, it's one thing to have forgotten what you learned 35 years ago, but I never learned it in the first place. Let's just say it was going to be very easy for me to say, no, I can't do it. And if I said yes, the chances of me succeeding were not good. Well, the more I thought about it, I felt that I had to at least try. I made up my mind that since my son couldn't do it, I would. I would do it in honor of him, which meant I have to do the very best I can to make him proud. The first semester went well, and I remember thinking that I might actually be able to do this. Then the second semester started, and that's when the road got really bumpy. I was taking 4 classes while working both jobs, and the class that scared me the most was Composition 2. I tried to get a jump on that first paper, which took me about 8 hours to write. This was an online class, so I wanted to take the paper to get the professor's input on it so I could make corrections. He looked over the first 2 pages, gave it back to me, and said, "You need to start over." That was it. I might as well give up because obviously I have no clue what I'm doing. I walked out of his office with my head hanging low, thinking my college days were over. I walked downstairs, sat there by the pool table, and prayed about what I was going to do. The old me would give up and walk out those doors and never look back. But I'm doing this in honor of Josh. So I decided that I wasn't giving up until I had used up every resource available to me. I marched back up those steps to his office, told my professor that he may as well put me on his schedule every Wednesday at 10 o'clock for the entire semester so I could get his input on my work. I went downstairs to the writing lab and asked for a tutor, and they fixed me right up. I also used the writing lab for editing my papers. I did everything I could to get the most out of that class, and in the end, I'm glad I did. I ended up receiving an A in that class, and I learned a lot about myself and my abilities as well. The first couple of semesters, I was just hoping I could pass my classes. So standing here is something I never dreamed possible. I'm glad I chose Northwest State because even without a high school education, they offer the resources necessary for you to succeed. No matter what your background is, all you need is determination and the will to succeed. The advice that I would like to offer you after graduation is to always keep reaching for your dreams. Once you reach them, make new ones. Never let yourself believe that something is impossible. I thought that going to college would be impossible. I lacked an education, and I was working 2 jobs. I never missed a day of bus driving, and I exceeded my goals in real estate last year. And I'm graduating from college at 56 years old. Never say you can't do something until you've tried your very best to achieve it. Pursue your dreams with all that's in you and never give up. You will not regret it. It is better to have tried and not succeed than to have not tried at all. Congratulations, graduates. May you succeed in all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dan, for those inspiring remarks and sharing your personal journey with us. As Vice President for Academics, it's my honor to present the candidates for graduation. Candidates, please stand. I now ask our faculty to please rise, if you would, and turn and face our graduates. President Thompson, upon the recommendation of the faculty and in concurrence with the academic deans, I am pleased to present to you the students who have fulfilled the requirements for their certificates and degrees, which include the Associate of Arts, the Associate of Science, Associate of Applied Business, Associate of Applied Science, and the Associate of Technical Studies.
Vice President Robeson, I commend you and your faculty for the outstanding job that you have done in preparing our students for this moment, and I wholeheartedly agree with your recommendation. Graduates, by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I award to you the Northwest State Community College degree and/or certificate, together with all the rights, privileges, honors, and responsibilities therein.
You may be seated. Would the first group of graduates please proceed to the stage Mr. Terry King will be serving as our orator today.
We'll begin tonight with the Arts and Sciences Division. Hannah Elizabeth Barnhart, magna cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Christina K. Smith. Ariel Kaylee Young, magna cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Josiah Santos Castrita, cum laude. Clayton Robert Steeman, cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Michaela Jordan Eberly. Emma C. Adams. Isabella D. Schwartz, summa cum laude. And now for the Engineering and Technologies Division. Alexandra Nicole Barber. Kurt Lee Stokes, cum laude. Zane Allen Cotterman. Alyssa Michelle Lynn Mast. Hannah Elizabeth Roth, cum laude. Kelly Ryan Westfall. Matthew B. Wolf, magna cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Trey Russell Heschelsworth, magna cum laude. Todd Dixon, cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Next, we have the graduates from the Industrial Technologies. Micah John Tyberg Peterson, magna cum laude. Merrill F. Cohen III. Cameron P. Dager. Grant Adam Jutsi. Grace A. Smalley. Jason William Stubblefield, summa cum laude. And next will be the Nursing Division. Angela Marie Beer. Lisa Ann Paulette. Jada K. Sanchez. Travis Jeffrey Galen. Kristen Eve Hall. Samantha Marie Fernandez. Brandy Kaylin Woodring. Brooklyn Nicole Vent. Madison Taylor Thompson. Excuse me. Shantae Nicole Wolfinger. Katie Lynn Sue Green. Next is the Division of Allied Health and Public Services Division. Brooke Lynn Thatcher. Janelle Lynn Marchant, magna cum laude. Business Division. Daniel L. Stuckey, summa cum laude, Kappa Beta Delta, Phi Theta Kappa. Hannah Marie Mills. Tatum Maud Smith. Lisa K. Whitman, magna cum laude, Kappa Beta Delta, and Phi Theta Kappa. Jamie Christine Huber, magna cum laude, Kappa Beta Delta, Phi Theta Kappa. Nicholas Pio. Amanda Renee Andres, cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Brett Robert Sleesher, summa cum laude. Zachary Lowell Miller. Michael Ryan Hesterman. Joshua David Hathaway. Stephen Benjamin Delaney, summa cum laude, Kappa Beta Delta. Sarah C. Myers. Ashley Nicole Ford. Jessica Resendez Raymond. Jarrett Eli Markle.
Let's offer all the graduates one more round of congratulations. Graduates, there's one more step to the process, so I'd like to ask you to please stand. To symbolize this moment, we will now do the turning of the tassel. So what I would like you to do is take your tassel and move it from the right side of your cap to the left. Congratulations, you may be seated. Each year, several graduates are recognized for their outstanding academic achievement. If you note in your program, a list of the Award of Merit recipients for December 2018 are there. These students are selected by the division faculty and the deans. They were honored at a reception last week. If you were an Award of Merit recipient, will you please stand and be recognized? Congratulations on your exemplary academic achievement. You may be seated. Will Pastor Max Begley please join me in order to bless our graduates?
What an honor it is to be a part of this occasion as you are honored tonight for your achievements. I remember all of my college studies, how much closer I grew to God every time exam time came around. And I warrant this, some of you probably did too. God created you for a purpose, and this part of your lives have moved you just that much closer to fulfilling your purpose, to lead our country. You are our leaders. Let us pray. Father, we thank you for these young men and women, for the things that they have set their minds to. Lord, we thank you for this institution that give them the opportunity to learn. And Lord, as they go forward and lead our country, Father, I pray that you would bless them, that you would help them to make good decisions, wise decisions, decisions that would help all of us to live a better life. And Lord, I thank you for them and for their hard work. We pray your blessings on them, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Begley. Vice President for Innovation, Todd Hernandez, would you please come forward and recognize those individuals who were selected for the Emeritus Award?
Good evening. At a dinner earlier this evening, the Board of Trustees honored 3 distinguished individuals that were recently awarded Emeritus status. Emeritus status is an honorary title awarded for distinguished service to the academic community. The Board of Trustees bestows the title on a faculty member, administrator, staff, or trustee who has permanently retired from Northwest State Community College and who has served the college, community, and profession with distinction. Would the recipients please join me on stage? Our first recipient is Mrs. Linda Kramer. Mrs. Kramer began her service to the college in 1984 as the assistant to the vice president for academics. After serving in that role for 9 years, she then served as the executive assistant for 3 presidents for the next 25 years. Linda played a significant role in executive-level operations, including serving as a secretary for the Board of Trustees and the Foundation Board. She volunteered her time to numerous activities, including the Foundation's Green Carpet event, American Heart Association's Northwest Ohio Heart Walk, Relay for Life, the Wellness Committee, and We Are STEM. Her commitment to the college continues even into her retirement as she continues to volunteer for campus events and fill in when offices are short-handed. Thank you, Linda, for your dedicated service to Northwest State. Please join me in congratulating Mrs. Linda Kramer. Our next recipient is Mrs. Lori Bird. Mrs. Bird's 29-year career at Northwest State began in 1988. Laura was first hired as a faculty member and was instrumental in implementing the newly created Associate Degree in Nursing program. Lori was promoted to the position of Dean of Nursing in 2010. Under her direction, both the Practical Nursing and the Associate Degree of Nursing programs have earned national rankings. Also during her tenure, Lori served on various committees at the college and in the community, including serving on the board of directors for the Filling Home of Mercy in Napoleon, representing NSCC on the Northwest Ohio Rural Directors of Nursing, the Nursing Advisory Board for Defiance College, and presenting numerous nursing continuing education courses in the college's service area. Lori, your service to Northwest State is appreciated. Please join me in congratulating Ms. Lori Bird. Our third recipient is Mr. Peter Beck. Mr. Beck is the Chief Executive Officer of Automatic Feed Company in Napoleon, Ohio. Peter served on Northwest State's Board of Trustees from 1998 to 2008. Peter then joined the Foundation Board and has been a champion for Northwest State's scholarship programs. He was instrumental in the creation of the Public-Private Partnership Program, whereby College Credit Plus students take classes on-site in a manufacturing environment in preparation for career pathways in engineering technology. This partnership was recently recognized by Ohio Department of Higher Education as a high-impact practice. Unfortunately, Peter is unable to be with us this evening, but please join me in a round of applause to recognize Mr. Peter Beck. We thank each of you for helping us celebrate our graduates this evening. Immediately following the ceremony, you are invited to the reception hosted in the atrium. There is a decorated cake for those interested in photos. We ask that guests remain seated until the graduates, faculty, and stage party recess.
As chair of the Board of Trustees of Northwest State Community College, I now declare this 49th annual commencement at an end.